Welcome to episode 71 of the Unstoppable podcast. My name is Dan J. Gregory, and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes, and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact, and live an extraordinary life? Welcome to episode 71 of the Unstoppable podcast. Today we are talking about habit hacking and bulletproofing your new habits. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Greatness then is not an act, but a habit." Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. How fit or unfit you are, a result of your habits. How happy or unhappy you are, a result of your habits. How wealthy or poor you are, a result of your habits. How successful or unsuccessful you are, a result of your habits. I think you're getting the picture. What you repeatedly do, i.e. what you spend your time thinking about and doing each day, ultimately forms the person you are, the things that you believe in, the things that you do, the personality you portray. So today we're going to be looking at how you can hack your habits. And unlike episode 65, where I talked about mental performance and hacking mental performance, where I was shocked when I finally discovered that there was no magic bullet, there was no secret to hacking mental performance, at least not right now. There was some real emerging science when it comes to things like nootropics, a supplement, which was a new area that I brought, and we're going to cover that further in the future of the Unstoppable podcast. But a lot of the principles for hacking mental performance were basic health habits. So this really is an extension of what I talked about in the mental performance episode, but specifically on habits. And there are a couple of things within this episode that I learned that were brand new for me, and I can see why, when I've tried to form new habits in the past, that I've struggled. And these two tips alone are going to help you build really solid habits. So look, watch out for that. Now, this might sound crazy, but it's estimated that 45% of what we do every day is habitual. 45%. So we're going to go deep on this today. But before we jump in, I'm going to share with you what we've been talking about on the podcast the last couple of weeks. So on Thursday last week, I brought you AJ Mazard, who talked about building $1 million coaching business, 3 steps that you can take to scale and automate your business. It was a really fantastic interview. AJ is such a superb human being, and he shared how he went from struggle to success. And there are so many principles that you can learn by just listening to that interview. That was the last episode we do on episode number 70. Before that, on Monday last week, I did an episode on finding clarity. I just come back from my holiday, fresh, full of new ideas. I decided my vision was going to be expanded. I was going to take over the world and start all these new companies. So, I came back with all these things, but I had to really figure out what's next. What's next? What am I focusing on now in the short term and the long term? So I talked through a process to enable you to find clarity amongst a sea of ideas. And I'm going to go into this a little more deeper, the clarity piece, again, over the next few weeks. It's so important because, I was just at an event over the weekend by Lazo Freeman, who's also one of my previous guests. He had a summit called the Body Transformation Summit with his Body Transformation Academy. And 80% of what he talked about was mindset. And some of the things he talked about were habits. And, incorporate some of the things I learned from the seminar within this episode. But, what he was speaking about was finding the clarity leads to conviction. And when you have conviction, you're able to achieve things at a much higher level. So that's what I was talking about last Monday, and there's more to come. So why am I talking about habits today? Well, funny enough, just a week ago, I signed up to Dan Meredith's 30-day habit challenge. Why did I do that? Well, I've been trying to embed a series of new habits into my lifestyle every single day, and I've been failing miserably. Simple things like my morning routine, which used to be so bulletproof. I used to wake up and it was sequential. Bang, 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 bang. It would happen. Get fired up for the day. Everything would happen like clockwork. But then I made some changes. I missed a few days. And then I missed a few more days. And all of a sudden it slipped. And right now my morning routine is all over the place. Some things are nailed down, like my wake up routine. When I first wake up, drink water, brush my teeth, and then head to the gym. But then right after that, as soon as I get back, it kind of falls to pieces. I get waylaid. So I really need to re-cement my morning routine. Similarly, my evening routine right now, it's 9 p.m. as I'm recording this. It's far too late. I haven't got a habit for recording the Monday podcast yet. Sometimes I do it on the day. Sometimes I do it the day before. Sometimes I do it a week before. There's no real habit. So there's all these things. Facebook Live, I started doing it daily and then it's semi-daily. These things, consistency is key. Consistency is key, and habits enable us to develop that consistency, and habits are what create long-term greatness. So part of this was also about simplification. Before I went on holiday a few weeks back, if you were following the journey, I was talking about really stripping back my activities to a few core activities that make the biggest difference. So what I'm going to want to do is make those new tasks, those key tasks, new habits. Really lock them down as habits so that it's that sequential routine. It triggers me and I get straight in and I do the things that are most important and I do it to a high standard. So you might think it's just going to take a couple of days to build a habit. There's this myth that it takes 21 days to build a new habit. It is a myth. This all came from one person's observations about how long it took his clients to make a change. On an average, he found that it took a minimum of 21 days. In the actual study, he said minimum of 21 days. He didn't say, here's a hard, fast rule to habit change, 21 days and you're done. Yet a lot of these programs that you can buy out there about new habits are 21 days. And, it's a good start because realistically, studies show that you can build a new habit from, just 15 days or even just a few days for the really smart people. But it can take up to a year to build a new habit. But there are things we can do to speed up the process, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But regardless of that, if you come into building a new habit, with the expectation that it's going to be done in a few days or within 21 days, then you're going to be potentially letting yourself down. And part of the reason why we fail in life is because we set false expectations about the time it takes to do things. I personally don't believe there's an unrealistic goal, but I do believe in unrealistic deadlines. So don't go into this process of building a new habit with a false expectation that it's going to change overnight. This process I'm going to share with you today is about habit hacking. There are things in there that are going to make things really, really effective to help you build the habit, but set the right expectation. So embrace the long, slow walk to greatness and focus on putting in the reps. It's the reps that get us towards greatness, whether you're talking fitness, whether you're talking business, whether you're talking mindset, whether you're talking lifestyle, whether you're talking relationships. It's the simple steps that we do every single day that amount to something great. So with this in mind, you can give yourself permission to make some mistakes along the way and develop some strategies for getting back on track quickly when you get off the rails. I talked about my errors, missing one session, missing two sessions, and then missing a few more days. Research has shown that missing one opportunity to perform the behavior doesn't materially affect the habit formation process. What this means, in other words, if you mess up every now and then, it doesn't mean you're going to fall off the wagon. It doesn't mean that you're not going to form the habit. But what this also doesn't mean is that you can't just take the week off and expect the habit to form. However, making one mistake or two, it's not going to have a measurable effect on your long-term habits. So forget about making mistakes. Give yourself permission to do that, but focus on the long game. All your habits are designed not only to get short-term results, but they're all geared to long-term success. It's the small things we do every single day that build up to the big things that we achieve over a lifetime. Now, neuroscientists have traced our habit-making behaviors to a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. Yeah, I never heard of that either. But this plays a key role in the development of our emotions, our memories, and our pattern recognition. It's a really important part of the brain. On the other hand, decisions are made in a different part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. You may have heard of that one. But as soon as a behavior becomes automatic, routine, then the decision-making part of your brain goes into kind of a sleep mode. So what this tells us is if we're able to take a task that normally takes this decision-making power every single day and make it a routine, make it a habit, then we can actually effectively make our brain more streamlined, because we're taking that thought process out of that decision-making part of the brain in the prefrontal cortex, and we're automating it so that the part of our brain called the basal ganglia takes care of it. So, for example, when we're driving a car, this is a habitual pattern. And this is why we can focus on, say, having a conversation or listening to a podcast like this at the same time as driving without being mentally aware of your driving because it's automatic now. This is because of the capacity of our basal ganglia and its ability to take a behavior and turn it into an automated routine. Now, for us as human beings, this is a real advantage because it means that you can devote the mental energy that you would normally spend on this decision-making process when you're starting a new task for the first time and it's start, stop, figure out what you need to do. We can now dedicate that mental energy to something else, something more productive, more powerful decisions. So what are all the things that we can take it from a day-to-day task and build it into a habit or routine so that we can become more effective? And for instance, President Barack Obama, he insists on never wearing anything but blue or grey suits. And according to the president, he's trying to pare down his decisions because he doesn't want to make too many decisions about what he's eating or wearing because he's got too many other important decisions to make. And you'll see this in people like Mark Zuckerberg, who wears the same clothes every day, people like Steve Jobs, who wore the same clothes every day. It's to really avoid that decision-making overwhelm so that you can focus on using the brain for the most powerful decisions that are most important in your day. And that President Obama's belief here is well supported by research. Kathleen Voss and her colleagues completed a study on self-control, and they found that the process of making repeated choices actually depletes the mental energy of their subjects, even if those choices are relatively mundane or pleasant. And according to the Harvard Business Review, if you want to maintain long-term discipline, it's best to identify the aspects of your life that you consider mundane and then routinize those aspects or systemise as much as possible. And in short, what we're looking to do is to make fewer decisions, to have to think less about what we're doing so that we can actually eliminate the excessive options and the decisions and the interruptions to our flow so that we can really focus on what matters. So by systemizing a lot of our processes in business, for example, we make our life easier. So why not do the same with our routine tasks to free up our own mental capacity to focus on what's most important? So today, in this episode, I'm going to be focusing on the process of forming new habits. And I'm going to share everything that I've learned in terms of a step-by-step process and the science of habit formation. And then next week on next Monday, I'll share how to break and eliminate old habits that no longer serve you or the things that no longer add value to your life, whether that's drinking alcohol or, smoking or worse, drugs, for example, or the people that you hang out with. We could chuck that in. Maybe that's habitual. You can't help it. Every Sunday you go and see this person who just brings you down. Technically, it's a habit. So next week, we're going to look on at breaking old habits. Today's all about adding new habits and positive things into your life. And I've reverse engineered all the latest science and I've deconstructed all the empirical evidence so that I could create this two-part process for developing new habits, what I'm going to share with you today. So the first part is a 3-step process to create the foundation for your new habit. So step 1 is to choose your one thing. Now, here's where I fall down. When I decide I'm going to do something new, here's what I do. I make a whole list of new things. I chuck it on paper, write it in my to-do list. I put it in my schedule. All of a sudden, bang, 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 all these new things come up. And I might start, okay, it's in the schedule. I do this, I do that, I do this. Just like the Facebook Live, it's fallen off the wagon. Yeah, that was in the diary. I was doing it daily. But then some things came up, so it meant I missed a slot. And then another appointment came up, I missed a slot. And I was committing to do it this time, and I couldn't do it that time. All of a sudden, there's no habit. The habit got broken from the outset because I was trying to do too many things at once. I was adding this task and this task and this task. So start small. Choose the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference to you right now. Let's make that work and then move on. Make it specific and make it measurable. Choose your one thing that you're going to turn into a routine or habit. And then we're going to really lock down and make that happen. So what is the specific routine, behavior, or action that you want to make a habit, a daily automated habit? Decide what you want your habit to be and now ask yourself, how can I make this new behavior so easy to do that I can't possibly say no? That's what we're looking for. That's the level of simplicity we're going for. Start small, choose one thing, make it specific, and make it so easy that you can't possibly say no to the task. All right, step number 2 on the foundation level of building a new habit. Find your why. You've heard it before thousands of times. Find your why. I'm almost sick to death of hearing that phrase. I'm sure you are too. But the point is, for you to proceed with making this a true habit, you want to do it every single day on command, on autopilot. It has to be important enough to you that you'll follow through with it without cause. You need to be able to do it every single day. So you need to make sure it's really what you want and not what you feel you should do. There's all kind of things. You can read, the 10 most important habits of successful people. I'm regularly reading that kind of material, I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you've seen it. I've probably even talked about it on this show, 10 things to make your life more effective. Look, you can learn these things, but unless it's bulletproof important for you right now, unless you've got a reason, all it means when we say find your why is to get some reasons and stack those reasons so it drives you forward, so it compels you to do something. Unless you have that powerful reasons why, there's no way you're going to pull off this habits. All these things I've just talked about, the things that have fallen off the wagon, the things that have come off the schedule. Today I just sat there in front of my Google Calendar, delete. I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm taking it out. I'm simplifying. It's not happening. I'll put it back in when I make it a commitment, when I find my why and I make it that one thing. So here's what you're going to do. And this is something I took from Lazo at the weekend. Write down 200 reasons why you're going to make this change. 200 reasons why you're going to make this change and the impact that it's going to have by making that change. And go deep. You're thinking 200? You're crazy, Dan. Trust me, it's possible. I sat there in a seminar room this weekend and wrote down 200 reasons why I was going to make a certain change. Now you can do this for this habit and think deep. For example, if it's getting a morning routine in place and mastering the art of morning routine, what's that going to give you? Is it going to give you more energy? Is it going to give you more focus? Is it going to give you more drive? What will having more drive give you? What will having more focus give you? What will that bring in your business? What will it bring to your relationships? What will it bring to your impact in the day? Just write 200 reasons why this habit is most important for you to do right now and why you're committed to doing it. 200 reasons. Got it? Make it happen. Let's do this. All right, I'm pumped up. Number 3, go public. Now, this is all about choosing your commitment strategy. This is about sharing your new habit or goal publicly or getting an accountability buddy to support you. So they'll keep you on track. They'll hold you accountable. They'll text you every day. Have you done that yet? If we're looking at major habits that are going to make a major difference in your life, and you've written out your 200 reasons why, which should be enough to get you accountable to yourself, go public will make it bulletproof or make it rock solid. You're going to embarrass yourself if you go out there and say, I'm doing this, and then you don't do it. So don't try and go alone, go public. And, I used to be with a company, Ryan Blair was on the show recently, right? The CEO of Visalis. I spent a little bit of time working with Visalis. And the reason why one of their core products, the 90-day challenge, the 90-day Body by Vi challenge, it's a weight loss challenge primarily. But it's been used in different areas as well within the company for fitness and muscle gain, all this kind of stuff. The reason why their challenge was so powerful, one of the primary reasons was number one parts of the process was to share your goal, your 90-day goal, to go public. They had this 5-step process, and one of those steps was go public. It's what made it so effective. They were getting public accountability to their goals. This is so powerful in the social media world. If you go out there and say, look, listen, world, I'm going to do this. I'm going to embed this new habit. Hold me to it. Say 21 days, using that number, just tongue in cheek, really, to say in 21 days, if I haven't done this yet, you can kick my ass publicly on Facebook, not physically, just on the status. I'll be posting up here to tell you my progress. You're going to be held to it. Put it out there. So that's the foundation. These 3 actions create the foundation. Now, the second part are the 3 R's of habit change. And this stuff is the stuff of magic. This is a lot of this is new to me. I understand the principles, some other area of psychology, but this is really, really special for habits, very specific to habits, I should say. Now, researchers have discovered a simple neurological loop at the core of every habit, a loop that consists of 3 simple parts. That's why it's called the 3 R's of habit, the 3 R's of habit change. The first is a reminder, the second is a routine, and the third is reward. Let's break it down. So number 1, the reminder. This is the trigger that initiates the behavior. It could be a time, it could be a location, it could be an activity, it could be an action. But let me articulate this a bit more for you. So the reminder is a critical part of forming the new habit because it doesn't rely on motivational forces. We're putting that motivational force in place anyway, finding your why and getting committed to it and going publicly accountable. That's just to lock down the foundation. But what having a reminder does is it removes the need for these external forces, and it removes the need for you to personally remember your new habit, because we're using triggers, we're using reminders to make sure you initiate the behavior. So picking the correct reminder for your new habit is the first step to making change easier. Now, what does a good reminder look like? A good reminder makes it easy to start encoding your new behavior into something that you already do by linking your new habit to an existing routine. Let me say that again. A good reminder makes it easy to start building a new habit because you're encoding your new behavior in something that you already do by linking that new habit to an existing routine. So this is known as implementation intention. It's a process of implementation intention, and it involves picking a regular part of your schedule that's already routine and then building another link in the chain by adding a new habit. So many women use this strategy as a reminder to use their birth control, for example, by taking the pill after brushing their teeth. So you're linking the process. I'm brushing my teeth, I'm taking the pill. It could be, I'm waking up in the morning, the alarm goes off, my gym kit is by my bed, I'm going to the gym. This concept of if-then binary style planning is built around these environmental triggers that we can use to let us know that it's time to act upon our habit. So for example, if it's lunchtime, then I'll only eat fish and vegetables. That automatic trigger, it's lunchtime, fish and vegetables. It's lunchtime, fish and vegetables. It's that Pavlovian dog style approach. We're very simple creatures. We respond to environmental triggers. That's all we're looking to create here. We're looking to create a reminder or a trigger for our new habit. So to help you find your ideal reminder or trigger for your new habit, write down a list of all the things that you already do each day, all the things that happen to you every single day without fail, and then select one of these to act as your trigger for your new habit. Got that? So look at all the things that happen to you every day, all the things you're doing every single day, what's already in your schedule, and choose one thing to then attach the next link in the chain, which is your new habit. This part is key, and I never made the connection with this, but this is powerful. This is powerful. So for example, at the moment, in my routine in the morning, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I neck a load of water, and then I go to the gym. Those things are locked down. And then previously, as soon as I got back from the gym, I would go into autopilot again. And I still do to some extent. I get straight into breakfast, I have my shower, but then I'm out of the shower, it's like, what's next? I usually jump straight on my to-do list, get straight into action. Well, what about all my other morning routine? What about the meditation? What about the reading? What about the thinking time? What about the planning? What about my 30 minutes to thrive? There's no order or sequence. It's about bolting on one thing at a time. And that's what I was talking about, that one simple change. So have a look at your routine right now. What are the things that are happening every single day? What are the things you're doing without fail? And bolt your habit on to that existing routine. That's the key. Number 2, routine. Routine. That's the behavior itself, the action that you want to take. You see, repeating a behavior in the same context every time is what makes it easier for you and your brain to automate the task. So here we can create a system for your habit. And the key is to start small, as we've spoken about. Pick one small action to automate as a habit. So for example, if your new habit is to go to the gym every single morning and your reminder or your trigger is your alarm, the alarm goes off, you go to the gym, your alarm goes off, you go to the gym. You can then systemize the process a little more by putting your gym kit by your bedside so that it becomes part of that automatic response upon waking to put on your gym kit. Do you think this would make it more likely for you to go to the gym? That click-whir response that Robert Cialdini talks about in his book Influence, where human beings, they will click and they'll whir in response to outside activity. So you wake up, the alarm goes off, your brain's going, the alarm, gym time. And you look down, there's your gym kit. Your gym kit is on, you're dressed, you're ready to go. Do you think you're going to go? I think you're going to go. So we're building the habit. We're building a system to make the habit more successful. So number 2 is routine. It's the behavior itself. It's the sequence of actions you're going to take. And this works incredibly well. This part of the process, when I've done it well, works miracles. So add your new routine to your schedule to help embed this new system, but bolt on that action, that behavior itself to a previous trigger, that one thing that's already happening. And then we move on to step 3, the piece I also regularly miss. It's the reward. The reward is the benefit that you gain from doing the behavior. This is celebrating the good times. This is about celebrating the progress that you make on a day-to-day basis. This is about recognizing the progress that you make by setting a new habit and taking action and make it happen. You see, we want to continue doing the things that make us feel good. This is about linking massive pleasure to the new habit, so we're more likely to do it again. You know, again, we are simple humans. We are really, I know we're very complex, but really, we're quite basic things. We're quite basic creatures. Whoa, that felt good. I'm going to do that again. Oh, I didn't like that. I'm not going to do that again. That's how we operate. It's really simple. You know, that's why advertising is so successful. It's link pleasure. You know, they link sex to clothes and drinks. Gosh, no wonder why we want to buy these brands. This is all we're doing with ourselves to embed our habits. It's linking pleasure to the action. So, given that the action itself needs to be repeated consistently for it to become a habit, it's even more important that we reward ourselves each time when we practice our new habit. It's recognizing ourselves for the action we're taking. And, you know, I'm someone who believes it's important to celebrate every victory in life, no matter how small. So use this new habit as an opportunity to celebrate every single day with your daily win, your daily victory. You know, I get a lot of pleasure from going to the gym, building that daily habit first thing in the morning. You know, I walk out of there feeling alive. You know, I'm so pleased when I do it. If I ever miss a session, I miss it. You know, I miss it. So attach that real pleasure to those habitual actions you're adding in. I say actions, that one small action that you're putting in, master the habit and then bolt things on. Be the type of person, become the type of person who always sticks to your new habits. You know, be a person that is reliable and can be consistent with your habits. Habits are at the core of peak performance. You can build up to the level of performance that you desire with every new habit you build in. When these behaviors become consistent, they add up to form greatness. Now, if you want to find out more about habits, I came across a fantastic book as part of this process, as part of this research by a gentleman called Charles Duhigg. Charles Duhigg. It's Duhigg. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter who wrote a book that breaks down the mechanics of habit creation extremely well. And a lot of the stuff we talked about today come from that book. It's titled The Power of Habit. Now, I'm going to try and get him on the show to talk more in depth about habits and what it means to him and his journey in this field. But in the meantime, do check out his book. But first things first, don't go out there and learn some more. Take on board what I've talked to you about today. Let's just quickly recap. The foundation, number 1, to choose your one thing. Starting small, your one thing, make it specific. Number 2, find your why. Write 200 reasons why you're going to do it. Number 3, go public, your commitment to the world that you're going to do this habit or share it with an accountability partner. And then the 3 R's of habit change. Find the trigger that's going to initiate the behavior. Choose the behavior itself and create the action that you're going to take. And number 3, reward yourself. Give yourself benefit the gains that you're going to receive from doing the behavior. Celebrate and reward yourself for taking action. Now, that's all I've got for you on habits. It's been a whistle-stop tour. You can tell I'm very excited about this. I'm excited about launching to my new habits. It's currently 9:30 at night here as I'm recording this. I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. But I'm gonna close off for the day. I've got to wind down. You know, talking of habits, check this out. You know, one of my habits is to be in bed by 10, closed off by 8 p.m. I've missed the deadline. This is how important habits are. I've got to be locking these things down. It's about making a change. I'm drawing a line in the sand. You know, I said when I came back from holiday, this is about simplification. This has got to happen for me, and this is why I'm chosen to record this episode today. It's super important to me, and I hope it's important to you. If you've gained something from this today, do share this episode. You know, what I've shared with you today could radically change your life. Number 1, take action. Number 2, share this episode. There's people out there I know will benefit from this. And the other thing is, please do come and join the Unstoppable Mastermind. It's my private Facebook group. It's a free group for like-minded people who are out there looking to make big things happen in this world. I really appreciate you coming to join the conversation. Over the course of this week, I'm going to be putting some amazing stuff in there to help you guys rock and roll and build your businesses, build your empire, and achieve the things that you want in your business life. So please go ahead and join there. You can find the group at unstoppablepodcast.com/tribe, or go ahead and just search the Unstoppable Mastermind on Facebook. You'll find me there. Finally, please do, if you enjoy this podcast, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever platform you're listening to this on right now. I really appreciate the feedback. It helps me receive more listeners. It helps me share the show and impact more lives, and play your part in doing that. I really appreciate that. Before we go, coming up this week on Thursday, I'm bringing you my good friend Tim Matthews. Tim Matthews is the founder of The Powerful Man. He's going to be talking about how to eliminate self-sabotage and removing the unconscious brakes that hold us back so that we can achieve more, but achieve more with greater ease and less stress and less friction and less drag. It's going to be a great session. I can't wait to share it with you. But until next time, go out there, unleash your greatness, build your empire, and live your ultimate life. You are unstoppable.